Hello and welcome to HITC Sport. Right, we all know what the most important league goals were ever scored by your club. You know, the famous ones. The ones that get all the recognition. But how about the just as important ones that never get talked about? The underrated goals. I'm going to look at every Premier League club and find the most underrated but crucially important league goal. Yes, league goal, not cup goal, scored inside the last decade. Here's some recognition for you lads. Arsenal Bakary Sagna vs Tottenham 2012. Most of you won't remember this one. For Christ's sake, there were 7 goals in this North London derby. Half the stadium had probably forgotten this goal by the full-time whistle. Nobody was going home sticking a poster of Bakary Sagna on the wall, but lads, they should have. This was almost the goal which saved Arsenal Football Club. The summer of 2012 was rough for Arsenal, but they still finished 4th in the league, 1 point above Spurs. Had they finished 5th, it would have been a disaster. In February 2012, Spurs were 2-0 up at the Emirates, 10 points clear of Arsenal. Had Arsenal, a team who had already lost 8 league games that season, including an 8-2 embarrassment at Old Trafford, had they gone at half-time 2-0 down, there was no flicker of a backbone or fight in their eyes. They would have been dead and buried, marching headfirst into the Europa League and football crisis. But no, because Sagna pulled one back in 40 minutes, they levelled through Van Persie 3 minutes later, came out for the second half revitalised, and fired up to stick in 3 unanswered goals, which gave them the confidence to put together a winning run and claw their way back into the top 4. Good Christ. Aston Villa, Jack Grealish vs Birmingham 2019. This is an iconic footballing moment. Not because Jack Grealish was punched in the head, although I'll be honest, I did feel my pants tighten somewhat. No, it was because this was the game which put together the winning run which shot Villa into the playoffs. Up until this point, Dean Smith's team weren't anything special at all. Sure, they'd beaten Derby County in their previous game, but before that was 5 winless games, 1 away win in 3 months. Had they lost the Derby, their season was done. It would just be another year in the Championship. Grealish would be sold to Spurs and Dean Smith would probably soon be sacked. But no, this game seemed to do something for the Villa players. Watching their star man get punched in the head by a drunken beer belly, clearly made of mostly cookie dough, to then pick himself up and score the winner, this was their turning point. Considering they won their next 8 games, became the Championship's informed team with an unstoppable momentum that was never going to be stopped in the playoffs, yes, this goal was important. Bournemouth Junior STANISLAS vs Everton 2015. Nobody talks about this much, but Bournemouth were just 5 points away from being relegated in their first ever Premier League season. They lost 12 out of the first 16 league games, including back-to-back 5-1 defeats. They looked out of their depth and destined to return to the lower leagues. And then this happened. Week 14, late November, Bournemouth 19th on 9 points, losing 2-0 home to Everton. Then they fight back in the last 10 minutes to make it 2-2. Then Ross Barkley bags a 95th minute would-be winner. This was heartbreaking. It would have completely knocked the stuffing out of little old Bournemouth. Their morale would have collapsed and they would have been down by February. Except no, Junior Stanislas then pops up with a 98th minute equaliser. The place goes wild. This comeback is treated as a win. They bring their momentum in the next 3 games, beating Chelsea, Man United and West Brom. Are you telling me that if somehow found the self-belief to beat those teams off the back of a cruel, crushing home defeat to Everton? Not a flicker of a chance. Brighton Anthony Knockaert vs Crystal Palace 2019. Brighton were so lucky not to be relegated last season. After a late season meltdown, they finished just 2 points above the drop zone. They were bottling it massively. So thank Christ for this. Anthony Knockaert slams in a 74th minute winner at Sellers Park in March. It was their last win of the season before crumbling like a Jeremy Lynch audition. This goal essentially kept them up, just about. Burnley George Boyd vs Stoke 2017. Sean Dyche had already been relegated once with Burnley. Had he gone down again in 2017, he'd be in danger of just being the next Neil Warnock, a promotion expert but not Premier League quality by a long shot. This goal saved his management career. In April 2017, they were 5th in the league during their first season back in the top flight, and they hadn't won in 7 goddamn games. Had they lost at home to Stoke, they'd have probably gone down. But no, George Boyd bangs home a volley, they win 1-0, go 8 points clear of relegation and stay up. Chelsea won Mata vs Tottenham 2012. This game was pivotal. Look, Chelsea finished the 12-13 season 3rd in the league, but just 3 points above 5th place Tottenham. Had they not qualified for the Champions League, do you really think Jose Mourinho would have returned in 2013? No, I'm pretty sure nobody leaves Real Madrid for the goddamn Europa League, not a chance. And faced with the prospect of 2nd successive years in Europe's 2nd tier, Eden Hazard would have been getting itchy feet after just 1 year. So finishing 3rd was important. In October 2012, they found themselves 2-1 down at half-time at White Hart Lane. Had Juan Mata not popped up with 2 goals in 3 minutes to turn the game on its head, they'd have finished 5th. Hazard would probably have been pinched by Man United, and they'd have been forced to give the manager's job to someone like Mark Hughes. Christ above. Crystal Palace Cesar Azpilicueta own goal versus Chelsea 2017. Yeah, this was an own goal. It's never going to be replayed on Crystal Palace highlight DVDs. It's never going to get its own painting in the Hall of Fame, but by Christ was this important. It was mid-October 2017 and Crystal Palace had not scored a single goal all season. Those fans hadn't seen a Premier League goal scored by their club in 6 bastard months. Frank de Boer had already been sacked and the incoming Roy Hodgson, fresh from being football's biggest laughingstock, had just presided over consecutive 4-0 thumpings in Manchester. And up next was a visit from the champions of England. Oh good Christ. Then Cesar Leicester Aspilicueta puts into his own net after just 20 seconds. Sigh of relief. The Palace team relaxed. Wilfried Zaha then scores another before half time and they win the game. Finally, the monkey was off their backs. They could go out, get a bit of confidence back and stay up. Everton, Marouane Fellaini versus Man United 2012. Okay, let's be honest, what have Everton really done this decade? They wasted it, not finished top 4 once, not lifted a trophy, so was any goal really all that important? No. I'll go for Marouane Fellaini's headed winner against Man United in August 2012. Let's be honest, it was results like this which tricked Man United into taking David Moyes at the end of the season. So yeah, it was pretty important. Leicester Andy King versus West Ham 2015. Without this goal, Leicester City are not crowned Premier League champions in 2016. Instead, they would have probably spent that season halfway down the championship under someone like Martin O'Neill. Jamie Vardy would have been sold to West Brom for about £6 million. Riyad Mahrez would have got back to France. It would have been a complete and utter disaster. In April 2015, with just 8 games left, Leicester were rock bottom of the league, having won 2 home games all season. They're drawing 1-1 at home to West Ham, about to stretch their winners run to 9 games, and then up pops Andy King with a dramatic late winner. Suddenly the vibe changes. The team gets a bit of belief, puts together title-winning form, which they carried on until May of next year. Insane. Liverpool Emre Can versus Watford 2017. Yes, we all see Emre Can's bicycle kick at Watford replayed on TV because of the beauty of the goal, but we do forget the importance of it too. Without this goal, Liverpool do not reach the 2018 Champions League final. They would have finished 5th, consigned to Europa League football, and so wouldn't have been able to attract Mo Salah or Virgil van Dijk. Liverpool squeaked into the top 4 under Jurgen Klopp in 2017, finishing 1 point above Arsenal. Had Can not plucked this piece of magic out his arse, Liverpool would have drawn 0-0 at Vicarage Road, finished 5th, and that would be that. Price, they'd probably still have Loris Karius and nets. Man City Edin Dzeko versus QPR 2012. Well, this is obvious. Sergio Aguero's last gasp winner against QPR will be widely remembered in 50 years. But in half a century, most people won't have a clue who or what an Edin Dzeko was. All anyone remembers about this title-winning game was Aguero's moment, stealing all the limelight. But lads, Dzeko's was just as important. Just like Teddy Sheringham at the Nou Camp, if he didn't bundle in a last-minute equaliser, setting the stage for Aguero to rob the glory, then this title win would not have happened. Man United Nemanja Vidic versus Chelsea 2011. Back to the days when Man United actually used to win Premier Leagues, this was the goal which essentially decided the title race in 2011. A real captain's goal. Nemanja Vidic smashing home a header to put Man United 2-0 up at home to Chelsea in the 3rd last game of the season. Had Sir Alex Ferguson's men lost this game, Chelsea would have gone joint top of the league, and with United distracted by a Champions League final on the horizon, yet back a focused and determined Chelsea team under Carlo Ancelotti to finish the job against Newcastle and Everton. This was such an important moment. Vincent Kompany's Manchester Derby winner the following year gets all the credit. This goal was just as important. Newcastle Joey Barton versus Aston Villa 2010. This can't be underrated just how important this goal was. This was Newcastle's first Premier League game at home since being relegated at Villa Park the previous year. Chris Hughton's newly promoted side had limply lost 3-0 at Old Trafford in their opening game, and then they concede a penalty here after just 7 minutes. Had Villa scored this, went on to win this game, I would have feared for Newcastle. An angry crowd would have probably turned on the team. Mike Ashley would be back in the spotlight, and I'll be honest lads, probable relegation again. But no, Barton smashed one home from 20 yards out, and having made a pact where he wouldn't shave his moustache until he scored a goal, this understandably got his teammate pumped. There was a feel-good factor around the ground. They released the handbrake, scored 5 more goals, and yeah, they went on to have a good season. But if they'd lost this game, oh good lord. Norwich Teemu Pukki versus Preston 2018. Yeah, you know Norwich's championship winning season last year? That could have ended badly. Almost relegation. The previous season they finished 14th, so Daniel Farke was already treading icy water. They started the 18-19 season with a winless 3-game run, losing to both West Brom and Sheffield United. This Preston game was so important. Teemu Pukki eventually broke the deadlock in 79 minutes, allowing the club to run out 2-0 winners. Had they not won, they'd be stuck in the relegation zone, and I'll be honest, Farke would probably have been fired. Sheffield United Billy Sharp versus Norwich 2018. Now I'm going to go for literally the week before. You know, that Sheffield United 2-1 win against Norwich in August 2018? That was also important. This was the season the Blades went up in 2nd, but they'd lost the first 2 games of the season. Therefore, Billy Sharp, 93rd minute winner against Norwich, and they were up and running. Cue the runaway train. Southampton Manolo Gabbiadini versus Swansea 2018. Manolo Gabbiadini was a big bag of rubbish at Southampton, but lads, don't underestimate just how important this goal was. Second last game of the 17-18 season, relegation 6-pointer away at Swansea. Gabbiadini fires home a 72nd minute winner, Southampton go 3 points clear and scrape survival in 17th. Very close though. Tottenham Harry Kane versus Aston Villa 2014. Well, this is the goal which launched Harry Kane, finally forcing them to take notice instead of continuing to spunk 30 million quid on bags of flour. It's the 90th minute at Villa Park, tied 1-1. A young, mostly ignored Kane, having spent his career out on loan, he's just after coming off for Emmanuel Adebayor after an hour, steps up to bullet home a Ronaldo-esque free kick into the top corner. And he never really looked back. Watford Odion Ighalo versus West Ham 2016. The 16-17 season was not a good campaign for Watford. They finished 17th, just 6 points clear of the relegation zone. They lost their last 6 games of the season, so thank Christ for their early season form. It's the 4th game of the season. Watford had just 1 point. and they're trailing West Ham 2-0. Dimitri Payet was clowning their defence, producing Rabona assists, had Gallo not pulled one back in 41 minutes, setting the stage for a 4-2 comeback win. Do you really think they'd have had the confidence to then batter Jose Mourinho's Manchester United team the following week? Not a chance. They'd have been licking their wounds, embarrassed by being tortured by Payet. They'd have been ripe for the picking. It's these 6 points which kept Watford up that year. So well done, Gallo. West Ham, Marko Arnautovic vs Chelsea 2017. West Ham fans probably still have PTSD flashbacks about this season. By early December, most fans had accepted relegation under David Moyes. They were 19th in the league after 15 games, just 2 wins all season. And again, like Palace earlier, they were facing a daunting visit from the champions of England. Had Marko Arnautovic not fired home a 6-minute winner to give the fans hope and wake up his teammates, I'm convinced they would have been relegated that season. Wolves, Andreas Weimann vs Rotherham 2017. The Fosun International project was so close to going up in flames. After the big money takeover in the summer 2016, Wolves had one objective: do not get relegated to League One or this will all be ruined. Clearly, the players weren't listening. By mid-March, they were 21st in the Championship, 1 point above relegation. They hadn't won in 6 games, no home win in 2 months. That's what you get when you put a multi-billion-pound takeover in the hands of Paul Lambert. Andreas Weimann fired home the only goal of the game at home to his bottom club Rotherham. Had they not won this match, allowing themselves the breathing space to kick on and stay up, there would have been no Portuguese revolution, no European football, just a bankrupt and ruined Chinese consortium stuck in League One. Anyway, that's the end of it, lads. What do you think? Let me know in the comment section below. If there's any underrated goals that you know of, let me know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. And as always, I'll talk to you in a while.